In this video, I'm going to show you how to rotate and work the chain. Rotate and work the chain is used in all of my patterns for the eyebrows, and in some of the patterns it's used to give an elongated shape, such as this snout here. This is worked around the chain, whereas for the unicorn, she has a nice round snout, but this guy's snout is a little bit wider. I also use rotate and work the chain when I'm doing the mane in the unicorn pattern, and I'll show you how to do that as well in this video. So the first thing you have to do when you're working your chain is chain up the number of chains that are indicated in the pattern, and you're always going to have one extra. So if it says to chain 11, you're actually going to have 10 stitches because you need that extra stitch for the turning. Okay, so, and what it'll do is it'll say work in the second chain from the hook, and that uses that extra stitch for turning. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 chains, which will give us our 10 stitches. So we're going to work in the second chain from the hook and single crochet 10. I wonder if you can hear my kitty snoring in the background. Okay, so we have our 10 single crochet that we've just worked across the chain for. So in the pattern, when it says rotate and work the other side of the chain, what you're doing is you're turning it upside down so that the right side is still facing you. If, for instance, it said chain 1 and turn, you would be turning it so that the back side, the wrong side, or the opposite side is facing you, and then you would work. But when you're working the chain, you're basically just turning it upside down by rotating it, and then you're going to work 10 single crochet on the other side of the chain. And you can see the loops here that you'll be working in, and there's also holes that you can work into. So then we'll do 10 across. And you might be noticing that I crochet a little bit differently than some people. Some people like to do all their work with the hook, but because I was a knitter and I'm self-taught, I tend to use both of my hands when I'm working, but hopefully that won't be too distracting for you. Okay, so now we have our 20 stitches and we have a round. Okay, this is going to give us our count, and then we're going to continue to work in the round to give us that long shape. So also when you're working the mane in the pattern for the unicorn, I suggest that you start with a different color than your hair color for your chain. Now the pictures in the pattern don't show that because I got a little bit ahead of myself, but basically it's going to help you to see where your work is. So for an example, I'm just going to work up a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you'd fasten that off. And then you're going to join your hair color in the first chain, and you'll be working a curl. Now I don't give the exact counts in the pattern just because, or I'm sorry, I give the exact counts in the pattern, but this is just an example. So we're going to make a curl that is 7 chains because we want that one extra. So we're going to be working 6 of the chains. 5, 6, 7. And we're just going to go ahead and put 2 single crochet in each chain down the curl. Then, when you get to the bottom of your curl, after you've followed the instructions in the pattern, you're going to slip stitch in the next chain. think I missed something there. Okay, so this is your curl, this is your starting chain, and in the pattern I suggest that you leave a long tail so that you can keep everything straight on each end. So then you're going to slip stitch into the next chain and work up a curl again, chain 7. Then you're going to work down the curl and slip stitch into the next. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and just show you what that's going to look like when you work down the first side of your chain. Okay, so now we have our 6 curls in our chain of 6. So if you get a little bit tangly, just make sure you take your 2 long ends and straighten it out. Then you're going to slip stitch into the same stitch as you did your last curl. And then you're going to rotate and work the other side of the chain. So what you'll be doing is you'll be slip stitching into that first chain, chaining up 7, and then creating 6 curls back across the front, so you'll end up with 12 curls. And then what you do is you take your piece, make sure you don't twist your chain as you're working these curls into the chain, and then you're going to sew up the middle of the chain onto your unicorn. I have a bigger piece here just to show you. Now this is 2 colors that I worked together just to give the mane a nice full look. But once you straighten out all the curls on both sides, you can see the chain there, although this one is in a different color. But it will lay flat, and then you're going to sew it onto your unicorn up through that chain. See if you can find it here. See? That's the chain. And what this does is it saves you time. Instead of having to do each curl individually. So once you sew it on, then you just give it a shake, and you can't even see the seam. Okay, thank you. And if you want to like and subscribe to my channel, I'm going to be doing more videos as I create more patterns. Thanks.